Welcome back to Own Your Path. Today we are tackling the silent killer of every ambitious dream, which is your lack of emotional control. Look around you and notice how easily people are triggered, how quickly they react to a negative comment, a minor inconvenience, or a dip in the stock market. This reactivity is exactly why the majority of the population remains broke, tired, and easily manipulated. If you cannot control your own mind, you are handing the remote control of your life over to the world. Today, I am giving you the blueprint to becoming emotionally bulletproof, a stoic force of nature, and how mastering your reactions is the direct pathway to building unshakable wealth. Let's get into the reality of emotional economics. Every time you get angry at a situation you cannot control, you are spending mental capital. You have a finite amount of energy every single day, and when you waste it arguing with a toxic friend, complaining about the economy, or raging at traffic, you have zero energy left to build your business, study the markets, or improve your health. The wealthy and the powerful do not react. They observe and they strategize. When a beginner investor sees their portfolio drop by 20%, their emotions hijack their brain. They panic sell, and they lose their money. When a seasoned investor sees the exact same drop, they feel no panic. They see a discount, they buy more, and they compound their wealth. This is the difference between a reactive mind and a sovereign mind. So how do we build this stoic shield? Step 1 is creating the gap. Between every stimulus and your response, there is a gap. And in that gap lies your ultimate freedom. When someone insults you, or when a deal falls through, your default programming is to react instantly with anger or despair. I challenge you to force a 3-second pause. Breathe. In those 3 seconds, you reclaim your power. You ask yourself, is this in my control? If a client cancels a contract, getting angry changes nothing. The stoic response is to say, good. This frees up my time to find a higher-paying client. This is not blind optimism. This is tactical reframing. You must stop classifying events as good or bad. Events are just data. How you use that data determines if you stay poor or become wealthy. Phase 2 of emotional mastery is the concept of voluntary discomfort. The reason you are so easily shaken by life is that you have engineered a life of extreme comfort. You sleep in a soft bed. You have food delivered to your door. You are perfectly temperature controlled at all times. When you are soft, the slightest friction feels like a catastrophe. To own your path, you must intentionally introduce hardship into your daily routine. Take cold showers. Wake up at 4 in the morning when the world is dark and cold. Lift heavy weights until your muscles scream. Fast for 24 hours. Why do we do this? Not to punish ourselves, but to prove to our primitive brains that we will not die when things get uncomfortable. When you have trained your body and mind in the fires of voluntary hardship, an economic recession or a failed business venture will not break you. You will look at the adversity and smile because you have been training for it your entire life. Now let us tie this directly to your finances. The highest paying skill in the world is not coding. It is not sales. It is the ability to make logical decisions in highly emotional environments. When everyone else is governed by greed during a bull market and fear during a bear market, the emotionally detached individual steps in and sweeps up the profits. If you want to make serious money, you must become a machine when it comes to capital allocation. You set your rules, you execute your trades or investments, and you do not let the noise of the news or the opinions of your broke friends alter your strategy. Remember the bad company we talked about last week? They will try to drag you back down by preying on your emotions. They will use guilt, shame, and FOMO, the fear of missing out, to get you to abandon your path. You must look at their attempts with cold, clinical detachment. You owe them nothing. You owe yourself everything. To truly own your path, You have to accept that loneliness is the price of admission to greatness. The herd is warm, but it is headed to the slaughterhouse. The mountain peak is cold, lonely, and requires a terrifying climb, but the air is clear and the view is absolute freedom. As we wrap up this deep dive into emotional mastery, your homework is simple. For the next 24 hours, you are not allowed to complain about a single thing. Not the weather, not your job, not the traffic. If you catch yourself complaining, you start the clock over. This will expose exactly how addicted you are to negative emotions. Break the addiction, master your mind, and the money will follow. If you are serious about leaving the matrix of mediocrity behind, hit subscribe right now. We are forging an army of disciplined, wealthy, and stoic individuals. Watch the next video on screen to learn the exact daily habits that forge iron discipline.